come across different people and sales strategies. We see a bunch of them, and every once in a while there's the ones that stand above all. And you're our community. We always want to serve you to our best ability and bring all the great stuff. And today I'm excited to share that we're going to do that. I wanted to share a story with you guys of how this came to be. And before I get into the story, know today, like Adam, he's doing all kinds of trainings today. We have a hard stop at 11:50. However, like always, Sean and I will be here till the top of the hour and beyond, answering any and all questions until they all get answered. So that's kind of the time frame we're working with. But in that time frame, we're going to be talking about virtual events. There's a particular specific strategy and a different way that Adam's been doing it that will be very powerful for our products, our service, and our offerings. He's a master at doing this. In fact, he's such a master. He's working with top influencers across the world, names that you and I all know. And so he's able to spot very quickly the ones that will scale to 7 figures and beyond. He has access to a ton of data on what actually works, what actually converts. And the funny story that I was going to share with you before I hand it over to him was how this all came to be. It's kind of the genesis of Adam and FlowChat. Our Sean and I's mentor, when we were looking at masterminds, starting to play around with this whole like acquire by DM stuff that we all do now. What's funny is we started picking up some of those initial processes from our mentor. Well, our mentor wouldn't have been doing these things. He was about to shut everything down. But it wasn't if it wasn't for Adam. So our mentor actually met Adam. Adam helped him put it all together. So what's funny is later down the road, like we took on that strategy, we made it our own, and it continued to grow into this thing, FlowChat, which eventually Adam, and he's going to share his story in just a second here. Adam would look at this and be like, "Wow, this is amazing." And I share the story for 2 reasons. One, for you guys to kind of start to hear the genesis of why Adam's here talking and today and how FlowChat came to be and getting all this set up. But the second big reason I share this story is for the framework of how we're hearing everything today. What happened was we took something that was working really well, we owned it, and we made it our own, and it grew and brought us to new levels that we didn't expect or anticipate going. For you listening and watching today, please take what Adam is saying and make it your own and go to levels that you never, to levels that you want to go and beyond. So I hope you hear it through that lens today. And Adam has been innovating yet again. And so while we modified on Adam version 1.0, you guys all get to hear with us Adam version, it's probably more than 2.0, but you know what I'm saying, like kind of the newer stuff that he's working on. So I hope you're just as excited. We always come with resources and gifts giving. Adam has that set up for us today. Who wants some DM scripts? Who wants some voice message scripts? Who wants to turn IT on fire? This is going to be awesome. It's going to be as much fire as his orange hat right there. Adam, I'm going to turn it over to you to do what you do best, my friend.
Awesome. Thank you so much for the introduction. It's so great to be here. I actually got a chance to meet Sean here in this group at a conference that I went to in Vegas. And I remember going to that conference and going to their booth, and I saw the way FlowChat was laid out. And I was like, this is exactly what I'm looking for. And we ended up booking a round of golf. I live in Orange County, and we did a golf trip together and just fell in love with these guys and who they are. And I just want to turn it back to you, Chris and Sean, for just creating such an awesome tool that's allowing us to make such a great impact into the lives of others. So you beat us at golf. That's right, by like 1 stroke. But they are good golfers, though, I will say. So just so I can get a feel for who's in the room, you guys can just take a moment and just drop in the chat. What are some of the different, niches that you guys are in? So if you're a coach or consultant or you have a service, if you could drop it in the chat, that would be great. All right, I see Mitch, employment benefits. Okay, great. Jack, fine art sales. All right, Ron, coaches and agency owners. There we go. Coaching, endurance, CEO, advisory groups, debt eliminator, tax strategy for small business. Terrific. That's awesome. And so I have another question, for you guys as well. And my question for you is what amount monthly are you wanting to be able to grow your business to? If you just want to type that in the chat, that would be great for clarity. And if you don't want to share that, that's okay too. But I just want to kind of get a feel for what the goals are here in this group. All right, great. Awesome. I see 50K, 100K, 60K, and there's no wrong number. There's not trying to impress anybody. This is just the number for you. Okay, great. 300, 250, 10 million, 2 million. All right, cool. 180K. Excellent. Awesome. So one of the things that we've really found to help us hit some of these bigger numbers that you guys are typing here in the chat. Some of you guys might have goals. So you're like, if I could just make 10K, I'd be happy, or 20K. And others of you guys are like, I need to make like 200, 300K a month to hit my goals. One of the ways that I like to think about that, is through leverage, right? We have to be able to leverage to be able to hit some of these bigger numbers. And one of the cool advantages that I've been able to have is I've been able to be behind the scenes with working with some of the top influencers in the world. And I'm able to see the back end on how their offers are structured and how their marketing campaigns are set up and how their systems are set up. And one of the things that I notice as I've been behind the scenes of a lot of influencers is that many of them have a process to where they market events. And so I want to be able to tie in today how our team uses FlowChat, the DMs we use to fill our events as a way to sell one-to-many versus selling just one-to-one. Would you guys like to learn that today? All right, cool. Do you mind if I share just a quick backstory that led up to how this all came about so you guys could have some context? Is that okay? Okay, great. So in 2014, I became a coach selling one-on-one coaching packages. And at the time I was charging $300 a month because I was brand new to this space. And if you don't know, that's not a lot of money for one-on-one coaching. And so after 10 clients, I ended up getting to a place where I was stuck. I was jumping on discovery calls, selling my one-on-one coaching packages, delivering that service. And I remember telling my girlfriend at the time, who's now my wife, her name's Brianna, I said, babe, we got to do something different. So I ended up hiring a coach out of Australia who helped show me the group coaching model. And we began to make some, decent revenue per year. But the challenge is, how many of you guys have made some good money, but by the time you reinvest back into your tools and your coaches and all the other expenses, there's not a lot of money left over, right? So I was in my prayer closet. I needed something that's going to help me break through. And I felt a download to start events. And so I felt like in my prayer time, God was like, do an event. And so I was like, an event, like, man. So I started doing research on a grand ballroom. And I'm like, this is going to take my entire savings to get the grand ballroom of a hotel. And I was like, but I'm all in. Let's do it. So I get the grand ballroom of this hotel. And one of the things, if you've never run an in-person event before, is you're always wondering who showed up. So I'm behind the stage and I asked Brianna, I said, baby, did anybody show up? And she's like, the line's wrapped around the hotel. And I'm like, you're kidding. So I'm terrified, my first event, and my life savings is now into this thing. So I do my event. And at the end of the event, nobody bought. And people are coming up to me after and they're saying, Adam, your event was so amazing, but I couldn't even pay attention to the compliments because I'm thinking in the back of my mind, well, if it's so amazing, why didn't you guys buy anything, right? I got to cover the cost of all this. How many of you guys have been there before where you get all these compliments of your work, but people aren't becoming clients, right? So this guy comes up to me and he says, Adam, he said, you're an amazing trainer. You crushed the event, but you suck at selling from the stage. But I want to show you how to sell properly, and I'm not going to charge you. I want you to come around with all of my seminar friends to learn how this business is done. And I'm like, this is crazy. Like, sometimes you just have to be able to be in proximity, right? And that was that moment where I met a key relationship. And so I end up mustering enough savings to do my next event. And from that day forward, we never made less than 100K a weekend. We went from 100K weekends to 200K weekends, 250K weekends, launching our in-person events. So in that process, we became very successful as a company, impacting a lot of lives. And so the challenge is, what happened in 2020? COVID hit. So who got affected in COVID? The live event business, for sure, right? Luckily, I had some marketing funnels, but funnels began to change a lot. Why? Because so many people started creating webinars and workshops and challenges, and people were jumping on and they weren't staying. It's hard to make impact when you don't have the attention. So we had to get creative. Facebook ads also got expensive in 2021, and advertising costs went up. We used to be able to run traffic to a webinar and we could make millionaires, and it was no longer that way. So we had to get creative. And so we decided to master DMing. But back then, when we were doing DMing, we were tracking everything on spreadsheets, and it was a disaster. And that's where, that's where FlowChat has come along, and it's helped us organize all of our DM processes. And so I want you to look at today's training from two lenses. One is I want to share with you how we're filling our events organically through DMs using FlowChat. And the second lens I want you to look at it through is being able to have a team be able to fill your events as well, so that it's not just you, but that you have leverage. So if you're ready to rock today, let's go ahead. And that is through DM messaging. That's right, Jack. Type in the chat, let's go, let's go. And I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Yeah, Athena, let's move. Chris, let's go. Okay, great. So let me go ahead and share this here. So what I'm about to share with y'all is basically our SOP, I guess you could say, which is our process that we follow to send out DMs. We integrate DMs and voice chat marketing because we like that personal touch, and I'm going to share with you how that plays a role in our process. So one of the things I highly encourage you to do is put one of these SOPs together. And so the first thing is, who is the target audience that you're going after? For us, our target audience is people who have the 5 C's. They make a living selling content, courses, coaching programs, consulting services, or creative agency services. This is who we're targeting. And this SOP is for our VA to follow, because it's our virtual assistant who is the one who is targeting our ideal audience. So if you don't have a VA, we use onlinejobs.ph. I know Chris and FlowChat also have resources to get VAs. And I typically pay that VA $300 a month to do what we're going over now. Okay, that's my cost for my VA. So the next thing is, these are the people that we're looking for. People who represent values such as heart-centered leadership, family, adventure, faith, impact-driven innovation, ages between 30 and 60, living primarily United States, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and Europe, with an average combined household income of 80K or more. So you can't tell online who makes 80K or more. You can only tell by the lifestyle that is presented online, right? If they're looking like they're in college, partying on a boat, probably not our target audience. But if they look like they're with their family, they have a message, they're more about adventure and lifestyle, probably more along the lines of our target. So I'm teaching my VA how to find the type of person that I'm looking for, not just from a demographic, but from a lifestyle perspective, and from a caliber perspective, right? Because I want, high caliber, heart-centered entrepreneurs in our community. So I'm giving my VA clarity. Then I give them the target as far as the type of coaches that we want to be able to target. Okay, so people who have these in their bios or headlines. Now, if you're in a different niche that's not business to business, you might have a different target audience. But these are the target audiences that we like to go after, okay? That we feel we could serve the best. For us, some people like to do more. For us, 25 messages a day is cool with me, just because profile safety is everything to me. I want to make sure that my accounts are never in jeopardy, or any teammates that I have are never in jeopardy. So what makes us feel safe as far as the security of our accounts is we don't send more than 25 to 40 messages a day. So the way this works is we have our VAs upload all of the accounts that match our target audience into our FlowChat pipeline. So we call these the profiles, right? So they're uploading the profiles here. And then once they're approved, then they will drag this card over to the approved profile, And that gives our VA notice to then send out the icebreaker message, which I'm going to cover in a second. So why do we do this? It's because I'm going to click on this Instagram account here, and I'm going to see, does this match the target person that we want to have? Well, it looks like she's in the US. She's a business coach, speaker. So yeah, this is definitely somebody in our target audience. So Justin hasn't got to it. Justin's on our team. He'll get to it, I'm sure, by the end of today, and this card will be moved over to approved. So once it's approved, then the VA is going to send out that message, that icebreaker message to begin. So what I recommend is, if you have a FlowChat pipeline, making sure that your VA is uploading the profiles for you to approve, to make sure that they're the right target, because you don't want to be getting on one-on-one calls or having people come to your events if they're not a right fit. And a lot of times, if you're working with the VA overseas, they sometimes have a cultural difference. They don't understand always who's really the best fit, even though you do your best to explain to them. So this is our filtering process to make sure that we are targeting the right kind of people. Okay. All right, great. So moving on, once they are moved into approved, we follow the profile. So if you're using Instagram, for example, you would follow. If you're using Facebook, you would add them as a friend. We send the icebreaker message, and anytime we send a DM, we always comment on the profile, hey, I left you a DM. Does anybody know why we comment on that profile? I'm sure if you're in the FlowChat community, they are big on this. Does anybody guess why we comment, letting them know why that we sent them a DM? Why do you think we leave a comment letting them know? Exactly, Sean, in case we end up in the spam inbox or the other inbox, right? So that they can go and look for it. That will increase your open rates significantly, okay? So once we do that, we send out an icebreaker message. So we have a series of different types of icebreakers, which I'm going to walk you through the ones that we use. But before I share those icebreaker messages, this is how I think about an icebreaker message. I think about opening up a conversation that makes it very simple for the person on the other end to respond with a one word to one sentence answer. I'm also trying to think about a common interest that would allow me to get into the door. So let me go through some of these so that you can get an idea. So these are what I call credibility icebreakers. So because I'm targeting entrepreneurs, these are questions that give really easy responses. So, hi, name, if you don't mind me asking, how many years have you been coaching? So if I can just get 3 years, boom, I'm happy with that response because the door has been open for a conversation. Okay. Hi, name, out of curiosity, how many years of coaching do you have? This is just a different way to say it. Hi, name, by chance, do you have any certifications or success stories for your coaching? If so, where would I be able to view them? Hi, name, what methodology is your coaching centered around? Hi, name, what's your philosophy on coaching your clients to get results? Okay. So we're assessing the credibility of our target audience. Why? Because we want to be able to make sure that we have people in our community who've done the work. We want qualified people at our events. Okay. The next type of icebreakers we use are marketing model icebreakers. Why? Because we're in the marketing business of helping people get more clients. So, hi, name, by chance, do you happen to run challenges or webinars? They might respond, yes, I do. That's good enough for us, and you'll see why. Hi, name, do you work with one-on-one clients or in group setting? Okay. So these are questions around their marketing or model. So if you're in a different line of business, you might ask specific questions that are relevant to what you do. The third type of icebreaker are what we call list of tools or knowledge icebreakers. So for example, ChatGPT is a hot topic. So hi, name, have you started using ChatGPT for your business? If so, what are your thoughts about it? Hi, name, random question. Do you prefer using Kajabi, Teachable, or something else for your online course hub? Hi, name, what's the best book you've read that's helped you as a coach? Okay, so these are just curiosity piquing questions where you're kind of coming to them for an advice on a particular area that you share a common interest in. Okay. And this last one is a value icebreaker. And before I share this, faith is a big part of my life. So I like to find other people who have that aspect to them as well. So if you have other common interest, you can also pair the value with the icebreaker. So I'm going to share with you what that looks like for me. Like I said, yours might be different, but this is a value icebreaker. Hi, name. I love that you are a believer and love to connect with people who love Jesus. Random question. Do you happen to run webinars or challenges? So there's just a common and extra element there of values that tie into that question. You can copy and paste any of these responses into ChatGPT if you have not yet used ChatGPT, and it could generate several unique responses to reword this so that you are able to send out different variations of this. Okay. So here's what I would recommend if I was in your shoes. I would make a list of all the icebreakers that you could think that would generate these answers for your target audience. And what I would do is pick your favorite 5 and give them to your VA to send out to see which icebreakers are converting the best for you. And what you'll notice is that one of your icebreakers is going to crush it. And that's the icebreaker that you're going to stick with as long as you can, as many times as you can, because it's working. Okay. So how long will it take you to write out 40 icebreakers? Probably maybe an hour to write them out. Just all the different questions: a credibility icebreaker, a tools or knowledge icebreaker, a model icebreaker, value icebreaker. Okay. All right. So this is where it gets fun. They now respond to, let's say they respond to this question here. Hi, name, random question. Do you prefer using Kajabi or Teachable or something else for your online course hub? So let's say that they respond to that. So I go to my icebreaker 3 example voice note, and this is what I would send. Let me open this up here as an audio, as a response. So let's say they just responded Kajabi, okay, as an example, as the tool that they're using. I would send a message like this, inviting them to our event.
Oh, that's awesome, Jen. Thanks so much for giving me your feedback on that, as I value it greatly. And one thing about me is I'm a big connector, and I always like to be generous with the resources that I have. And I happen to be a part of a mastermind, and I have a few guest passes to invite some people to sit in free. And I love the work that you're doing, and I think it could be a great opportunity. We're going to be training on how to launch 6-figure virtual events to grow 7-figure business. And it would be an honor to have you as my personal guest. So you can't buy anything. You wouldn't have to pay anything to get in the room. So let me know if this content would be of interest to you, and I could send over some more details.
So one of the things that you'll notice as a theme between all of our voice chats is when we're running our events, we don't allow anyone to buy so first of all, to give you a background on our events, we don't allow anyone to buy anything on our actual events. They only happen in our follow-up calls. So we also label our invites to events as a guest pass. So yeah, and then as far as values, honor, generosity, and connection are values of ours. So we use those values as a bridge into the invite. So for example, hey, thanks so much for your response. Hey, I'm a big connector, and I always love to be able to bring value to people doing amazing things. And so it would be an honor to be able to have you as a guest to one of our upcoming events based off of what you do. And it would, I could give you a guest pass. It's free to sit in. You can't buy anything, and it would be an honor to host you. So our topic is going to be on this. Would this content interest you? So why do I like voice chat marketing is because it's not just what you're saying, it's how you say it. You can't fake that, right? There's a certain way in how you show up where people are gravitated towards that. And they're like, man, this person's a real person. They thought of me. They're taking time out of their day to make me feel seen, to show me, invite me with their guest pass. They're respectful. They're generous. These are the qualities subconsciously that people are listening to And when they feel that from you, your conversion rates go up like really high. Does that make sense? Because of that connection. So would you guys like to hear another one as an example? Okay, cool. So let's say somebody responded to the list of credibility icebreakers. So hi name, if you don't mind me asking, how many years have you been coaching? So then we would send out something like this.
Hey, that's awesome, Jen. The reason why I was asking is because I'm a connector and I'm always looking to add value to people where I see fit. And based off of your years of coaching, I'd love to extend a guest pass to sit in a mastermind that I'm a part of. It would be free, of course, as you would come through my guest pass and you cannot buy anything. And the topic is how to launch six-figure workshops. So will this content interest you? If so, let me know. Like I said, it's free and you cannot buy anything. It would be an honor to have you as a guest just because of the amazing things you're doing. And so let me know and I can share more with you.
Okay, awesome. So you guys noticing a theme there? It sounds very similar, and almost all of your voice notes are going to sound that way because you're adding value. One of my VAs said this. They say, Adam, I love marketing for you because giving a guest pass away is so much easier than trying to sell somebody on a discovery. And I'm a fan of both. It just depends on your selling process, but selling in group setting is better because there's no limit to how many calls you can take or how many guests you can have, right? So it's scalable. So what happens is this. So we have these different responses, and then there's objections that you're going to face, right? Like, how did you find my profile? Did you send this to everyone? Are you trying to sell me? How many of you guys have got those before with your DMs? Yeah, if you've been DMing, you'll get these type of questions and objections, right? What's this event about? Can you tell me who's hosting it? I am already at six figures, or I'm already successful. Why should I come to your event? Go to my website or bio if you want to learn more about me. Why are you cold DMing me if you don't know me? I'm not free during the dates of the event. Okay, so these are all different. These are our most top 10 objections that we see. And so what I want y'all to get in the mindset of is this. I want you to get in the mindset of having a process where you're documenting all of your objections and having voice scripts on how to handle those objections and put them into a document so that it's all one working document. Why do you guys think that we document everything? Why do you guys think that everything is in a document? Who wants to guess that in the chat? Okay. Yep, exactly. So you have a system, but why would you need a system? So that you can duplicate for scalability. That's right, Valerie. Exactly. And by the way, I saw someone in here who sells art. You absolutely can host an event talking about your art. So the icebreakers would be different. Hi, would you like to, are you into art by chance? And if so, I have an event. We're going to be inviting X type of target audience to our event. It'd be an honor to host you. So it'd be the same thing, just different icebreaker. Okay, that's right, Ainsley, scale. Okay, so let's talk about that. What does it actually look like and what's possible when you have a system like this that can be duplicatable? Okay, well, first, let's open up our calculator. So I would say that the average, can you guys in the chat type the price of your offer in the chat? What's the price of your offer in the chat? How much is your service? Okay, 3,500, 3K, 18K, 7K, 7,500. Okay, so I would say the average here in the room is around 5K. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put 5,000 here in the offer price. And let's say your revenue goal is 100,000, which I think is the average when I asked you guys earlier to put that in the chat. With our event model, we have 90% show up rates, which is crazy. And we have an average of 30% close rate on the back end of that. Okay. So we have cracked an event code. Just to give you an idea, I used to have to rent the grand ballroom to get the results we're getting on Zoom. And we're doing something no one's doing when it comes to our events, which I'll share with you guys how we're doing that in a minute. But all you would need is 67 attendees. to hit 100K a month with our event process. Okay, so if you have less, you could see here 40, 60,000. If you had 20 people, you make 30K a month, that kind of thing with the current offer price of 5K here in the room. So you're only one person. You could only send so many voice notes on your own. But how many of you guys would like to have an event marketing team? Yeah, absolutely, right? Imagine having your events filled for you. So what does that actually look like? That's what I want to share with you next. Can you all see my whiteboard? Can y'all see this here? Okay, great.
Hey Adam, I think so I see you sharing screen. If you stop sharing, I think it'll put you back a spotlight because
There we go.
yeah, there we go.
Well,
Cool.
thank you for that. All right, cool.
Yeah.
Sweet. So what I want to do is kind of give you my mindset, and this is where FlowChat has been huge for us. This is where it's come in clutch. Is because let's say that this is you. So we'll draw that here. Put you. And let's say that you were to have just a team of 3. So we'll go ahead and put Ashley, we'll put Bill, and we'll put, let's say here, Carissa. Okay. So you have 3 people that are willing to rally with you and say, you know what, I'll help you promote your events. Okay. So what we do is Ashley, her goal is to just work 1 hour a day for you. 1 hour a day. That's it. And you provide the VA that works for her to send out the icebreaker messages and upload her profiles into FlowChat, and she approves them. And that's part of her daily task, as she chooses the right people for the VA to send out the original message. And once the messages are responded to, Ashley's job is to respond with the voice chat scripts, kind of like I provided here. So if she gets 10 people to come to your event, we like to pay $50 to Ashley for every attendee that comes both days. So Ashley is going to make $500 for her 10 invites. Plus, for every enrollment, we know 3 out of 10 people will enroll. So we have 3 enrollments. We're going to bonus her $500 for those enrollments. So Ashley makes an additional $1,500. So she's making $2,000 from the inviting 10 people to the event. Okay. But let's times this. Let's say Bill does the same thing, and let's say Carissa does the same thing. They all invite 10. So you would times this expense times 3. By the way, you're not really paying that much money out until money comes in. It's called reverse marketing. Okay. So you don't have very much risk. So you have $6,000 in payout, but how much did you make? Well, if we type in if we look at our, well, I'll just do the math here. If you had 30 invitations came to your event times 30% conversion, you would have around 10 new enrollees times your 5K offer. You made 50K from your event. So how many of you guys would invest 6K in a team to make 50K from your event? Absolutely. So this is how we're scaling. I have pipelines in my FlowChat that are for each of our teammates to go through. Like, it organizes all of it so that all their activity is tracked in the FlowChat pipeline. Okay. So this is a really cool story to show you how simple this is, that you guys can do this like immediately and start seeing results with the system within 48 hours. Okay. Obviously you need to have an event already. If you don't have that, that would be a next step. But let's say, let me just share my screen on this and show you what it looks like. So this is Kim. She just got started with us Monday. She joined our event marketing team. Let me share this here. She joined our event marketing team, and she just joined Monday, learning this the way you guys are learning this now. We trained her on how to do it, set her up in FlowChat. got her VA, trained her on the voice chat script. This all was Monday afternoon. And yesterday, Wednesday, she says, I got mine, have one signed up for a 50-minute call, which is required to come to our events. And then she said, transparency, voice texting was a nightmare. I think I spent an hour recording and deleting the first message. Why? Because she never sent a voice message before. This was her first time. She was scared to do that, and she did it. I'll be fine. My perfectionism kicked down, kept praying, just be yourself, just be yourself. She says, I went in phases and then had to help at the office, but in 2 hours, dropped 30 icebreakers, got 10 voice chat, 2 yeses, 1 no, 2 maybes, and 1 scheduled on her very first day. Okay. So she's on our event marketing team, and I share that with you because I want y'all to think bigger than just you, because FlowChat gives you the system and infrastructure to be able to have team. And so it begins with you. It might just start with you having a goal. I want to send out 30 icebreakers a day and open up the conversation. Then you document your process, write down all the objections you're getting, and then how you respond to those objections. And then boom, I want to get my first teammate. And then now we get them following the process. And so you don't need a lot of people to crush it. With this same model I just drew out for you, if you had 10 people doing this, you would be making you would have a $2 million business if you had a 5K offer with the numbers we plugged in. So obviously that's for illustration purposes only. So I'm not guaranteeing you're going to be wealthy or anything like that. But I am saying that if you guys can catch the leverage, we have the ability to create opportunity for other people to step in, get behind your vision, and market your next events. Okay. So I want to do something cool for y'all before we break into Q&A. I have so we have, this was something I talked to Chris about. Our event process is something that we've changed the game with events. I mean, we don't know really anybody who's getting 90% show ups, 30% conversions at the back end. And I want to share with you our event process. How many of you guys would like to see that on how we're doing that through events? Okay. So I'm going to be running that training coming up here. Carrie, are you with me? Can you drop the link to that? That would be awesome. And what's going to happen is on that event, this isn't going to be like a webinar where you jump on and you just, we pitch you something. We're going to actually do the work on the call, and you're going to come out of that event with your entire virtual event planned out, mapped out. We're going to teach you how we fill our rooms, how we convert, how we sell, how we market it end to end. And it's hands-on, it's a hands-on implementation training. It's actually the same training I give to our 25K paying students in our mastermind. I'm giving it away for free. And, you guys will get a chance to sit in on that. So you do have to request to sit in. So if you do click the link, it will take you to a calendar to book a quick chat with our team. And here's why, is because we just want to make sure that the content we're teaching is relevant to where you are in the business. And then also that we go over the ground rules with you, because we don't like people coming in and out of our rooms. We want the room to be safe, and we go over the ground rules. Once they go over that with you, they'll give you your link to sit in with us. And I think you'll be blown away by what you experience. Like, this is just a little icing compared to what you're going to see underneath the surface on how it all operates. And I think it'll add a lot of value to your guys' businesses. Okay, cool. So if you guys want to register for that, I don't know when there'll be another opportunity to do that. So I would definitely jump on that if you can join us there. And yeah. All right, cool. You got it, Maura. You got it. Okay, cool. How many of you guys had some aha moments today? What were some takeaways that were just like, all right, that was eye-opening? What were some key aha takeaways?
Give everyone a second to think your process. You can maybe start sharing some of them in the chat. We'll call some people out here. And Adam, as I kind of feel us transitioning into takeaways and Q&A, I did want to throw out there, one of the best teachers is experience. And I know we've covered this in our community before. So today you guys got to see like the tactical, the strategy. Here's the actual copy. Like he really opened up and shared what was taking place. The words that are being used, everything, right? the best teacher is experience. And so in terms of this event, when I was talking with Adam, I was like, hey, is there any way that we could get them access to this? Because and another example is like, if we're talking with somebody like, oh, I'm really struggling selling my 10K thing, my 20K thing. I was like, have you ever bought one? Because if you're asking 10K of somebody, but you've never given 10K to somebody else, there's that breakdown, right? But as soon as you've experienced that personally, and then you're asking that of somebody else, there's a different integrity. There's a different understanding from a human to human standpoint of mentally, emotionally, what they're going through. So if you're really considering the sales strategy, you watch this, you're like, hey, I think this would be a game changer for my product and service and my offering and my team and system. Go experience it first. So I was like, Adam, is there any way we can get them access to do this? Like walk through the process, and that's going to give all different types of inspiration. Oh, this is, how it would fit for me, and how I could approach it. And I would like to say, like, one big benefit to doing this, once a month, right, Adam?
Right, exactly.
There's this essence of like, oh man, I got to book calls every day, every day, every day, every day. This really helps systematize acquisition in a business. I'm going to focus on getting this event. I do this one thing every time. We get X amount from it. It feeds it really allows you to not, prospect. Okay, well now I'm fulfilling. Okay, now I'm actually doing the sales call. Okay, now I got to, it can bring a lot of consistency and familiarity, or it's like structure to the business too. All right, do see some questions coming in. I know you got to jump pretty soon here, Adam. Sean, if you've been watching
Yeah,
the
one
chat, or
thing,
Adam.
one thing I also just want to add, you guys all remember the game, the Adventure of Zelda, right? So like if you're old school like me, you remember Zelda. And when you first start playing Zelda and you go to the map view, what you see in the map view, it's all dark, right? Just for a little square that your little character is on, right? And so that can be similar to running an event. If you've never run an event before, you might be thinking like, oh my God, I'm in the dark. I don't know where the next boulder or the pitfall is going to come. Go work with Adam and see what he's got behind the scenes. Like, let him pull back the curtains and show you, because guess what? Now the whole map is going to be uncovered, and you're going to know, oh, don't go into that skeleton ravine over there. I want to go over here to the magic Emerald City, right? Like, and that's the idea. And when you know the buttons to click and you know the direction to follow and you have clarity and permission to do so, you fly. And so that's what Adam's actually going to be giving you guys. I think it's a pretty powerful thing. So yeah, Adam, we got some questions in the chat here. I think one of them was are you going to be providing some of the DM scripting and all the other stuff at the event, or how's that going to work?
What I'll do is, so what I shared with you today is our original documentation. So we need to like create a duplicate backup so that we can share that with you guys. So anybody who comes to both days of the event, then I will give you that copy after the event. We'll have a duplicate for you to take away those voice notes. Does that sound good?
Perfect.
Okay, cool.
Perfect. One of the questions that came out was, are you doing like a voice note to each and every single person individually? How do you store that in mass? Like a couple of things that I've seen is, and maybe you can add to this, but if you just started recording those and storing them in a file somewhere with like, hey, George, hey, Dan, hey, Scott, hey, Kyle, all of a sudden now you've built up this library, and then you can give access to your team, and then they can just pull the name and send. That's another way to do it. Or you can run it the way Adam does. Adam, talk about that. I mean, like, how do you do that, right?
Yeah, well, so there is voice AI that's now available, and I'm not going to get into that today.
No, the can of worms open.
Yeah, no, we're not going to get into that. But what I will say is this: is that right now we're focused on quality. If you notice, we're only sending out 25 messages a day, and we're really focused on real, genuine relationships. So what we find is that it's better to have true connections than it is to just try and blast everybody, generically, because you don't need a lot of people to make a big impact, especially if you're selling something that's between 2 to 15,000. You just need quality connections and high trust, right? So what you'll notice is this, and this is important too, is that in your objections, you're going to get things like, hey, do you send this to everybody? Or, hey, why did you cold DM me? What voice chat allows you to do is it allows you to turn that objection and win a fan. And what I mean by that is I've had some rude responses back, like, hey, you don't know me. Why are you sending me a cold DM? And I'll just respond and say, hey, Jennifer, that's a great question. And I'm sure that you get a lot of messages. The reason I reached out to you is because I think you're doing amazing things, and I'm a connector. I love to bring resources to people that I see doing awesome things. And it would be an honor to have you as a guest because we're going to be teaching on this topic. Would that interest you? And then they'll respond and be like, hey, thank you so much for clarifying. I do get a lot of messages, and sometimes I'm not really sure, how they find my profile. So I'm a bit skeptical, but yeah, if this is like a real opportunity, I would be open to sit in and learn about what you're doing. So voice chat allows you to swim over objections a lot easier than just responding in a DM, because you don't have the tone to your advantage when you're doing text. So I just want to encourage you to have real genuine conversations, because the greater the trust you could build in the DM, it will carry over when they see you in your events, leading them virtually, if that makes sense. So just want to encourage you there.
That's awesome. I appreciate it, Adam. I know we're right at 11:50, your hard stop. I wanted to say thank you for taking carving some time out to come hang out and pour into everyone here today. He's about to jump off and do another 2.5-hour training. So anyway, I appreciate you making it happen, Adam.
Thank you guys so much for hosting me. Like, this is not just a like a web class for me. This is you guys are an extension of my family, because FlowChat is the community that I'm a part of with you guys. Like, we're all in the same seat, just trying to grow, reach people, make impact, grow our businesses. And so I'm a part of this community with you guys, on this journey with you guys. So if there's any way that I can help, if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out. And I'm sure that, maybe I can come back and do some more trainings in the future, and hopefully we'll see some of you guys at our next event. Sound good?
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for being here, Adam. Appreciate
That'll be
you
awesome.
so much.
Appreciate you.
Chris and Sean, for the amazing things you guys are doing and what you've created here to make this all possible. So appreciate and love you guys.